Welcome to USFL Today. I'm your host, Angelo Fioris. Make sure to follow me at USFL Today on Twitter, and make sure you follow our YouTube channel at USFL on YouTube. That's where you're going to find all of these great shows and all of the content that you're used to from the USFL Today. I'm happy to bring on my next guest for this week. He's a big part of the Philadelphia Stars defensive line. He joined the team in the middle of the year, but he still had an impact. His name is Ralph Holley, big number 95. How are you, Ralph?
Doing great. I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. And as we get closer to training camp, to sit and chat with us and let fans get to know you a little bit. It's great.
Okay, for sure.
So, Ralph, you played at Western Michigan University, just for the people that don't know you that well, and you played all 4 years and the COVID year. Tell me about what that was like. You got a lot of games in 4.5 years, didn't you?
Oh yeah. It was a great experience at Western. Love my coaches there. When I came in, my coach, I was battling for a position against the seniors my freshman year. I didn't end up redshirting my freshman year at all. I ended up playing, a couple of games my freshman year, getting my feet wet in college football. And then my sophomore year came around. That can be, classified as my quote unquote breakout year. Um, I just started feeling really comfortable getting adjusted to the college speed, because going from high school football to Division I FBS college football is a huge jump, and it's something you have to get adjusted to, you know. And from there, I just had the support from my coaches who kind of let me play in the realm of my game as a defensive tackle. And I was blessed enough to have other guys on that defensive line that we, really balanced each other out across that defensive line and that defense in general. So, and that COVID year,
Yeah.
it was interesting.
Yeah. Does it really even like count? Because it was such a different animal compared to what a normal season and situation would be like, even from practices
Yeah.
right through the game, right?
Yeah, it was just that whole year was just weird. Everybody was scared of everything, and we weren't even sure if we're gonna have a season, honestly. And we ended up having, I think that was the 6 game season. We only had 6 games that year for the MAC conference, I know. But it was just a really weird year. But I was blessed. I mean, after that year, I got my first collegiate award. I was first team All MAC, all conference defensive tackle, and I was just like, God works in mysterious ways. So and I just I take advantage of each year, whether it's like 6 games or 12 games. It's still football at the end of the day. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And for as weird a season as it was from a experience standpoint, you still had great numbers.
hmm
Uh, you had 6 sacks, I think, in that shortened season, and that equaled your career high, which you had in your full season of a sophomore year. So I can only imagine what your numbers would have been in an 11-game season that last year, right?
Yeah. It was a great year. Still weird, but it was a good year.
But the season and the extra reps did help because you did get the attention of the pros after your career with that. Tell me about what it was like coming out of Western Michigan. It's not like the most recruited school by the pros. You might have gotten one or two guys attention, but what was the process like for you coming out?
Okay, yeah. For me personally, we've had a lot of great players on the offensive side of the ball come from Western Michigan. Corey Davis, Chukwuma Okorafor, he's an offensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. D. Eskridge, Seattle, and recently Sky Moore with the Chiefs. But we really wanted to make our presence known on the defensive side of the ball throughout our time there, and it was just once that COVID year happened, I started getting a lot of traction. Just from agencies and different, a lot more coaches coming and actually watching the defensive side. Well, scouts coming and actually watching the defensive side of the ball. It was like really surreal. I was just excited, but it was like at the end of the day, I couldn't really do anything because I was still in college, and
Right.
it's really just like just hype around everything like that. Um, it was great though. I played alongside the defensive player of the year, Ali Fayyad. He's one of my best friends. That's my boy. And Braden Fisk, my other defensive tackle who played next to me. just transferred to Florida State. But we wanted to make ourselves known, and that was attracting a lot of NFL attention, USFL attention. And it was just great. It was just great.
So you got the NFL's attention,
Mm-hmm.
and you were with the Chicago Bears in minicamp.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that experience, getting the call from the Bears and then getting to work with those coaches and fellow players. Share that with me.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great. Being in that atmosphere and being around those players. I actually saw a lot of my some of my teammates. Two of my teammates got invited to the mini camp. To AJ Thomas, who's currently still on the roster, and Kainoa, he played defensive tackle for us too. And we were both there. It was a great atmosphere. The facilities were great. The coaches were great. Got a lot of information to improve my game in those short days. I appreciate the coaches for inviting me there. It was just a great atmosphere and something that was just, it's amazing, putting that Bears helmet on and being able to practice with the guys. It was awesome.
So the mini camp ends.
Mm-hmm.
You don't sign a deal. You move on. It's still USFL season already was going on, I guess, during your mini camp experience. Yeah. You didn't latch on right away with the Stars, did you, after mini camp?
No, after the mini camp, I had calls from the Canadian League. I had calls from the XFL. They were getting their stuff started up, and I had calls from the USFL. And the thing is, like, I would be watching the games on TV and just being like, "Oh, this is some great football, great coverage, everything like that."
Yeah.
And one of my really close coaches who I train with, and he's been an NFL coach and everything like that. He really he just talked to me about the USFL. He's like, this is a great opportunity. They have amazing coaches that have an incredible resume that can not only improve your game, but put your game out there to other people. I just was, I really, looked at my options. I looked at the CFL, I looked at the XFL, but the USFL was just something about the stability and it seemed like they were trying to constantly get better with the players and with the league. And they were growing in all the right places with media coverage. I mean, the coaches they hired, the players they were recruiting, So I was like, I definitely want to be a part of something like that, something that's growing as fast as it is. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So week five rolls around and you get the phone call. Who gave you a call from the Stars organization to say, hey, we're interested. We want you. Come on over. Who said that?
My D-line coach, Brandon. That's my boy.
Okay.
Yeah. He called me. He gave me the rundown and everything. He's like, we want you to fit in here, but we want you to play your game. He's like, don't be anybody else. Don't try to do anything extra. He's like, play your game and be the route that you were in college that we know you are. And I really appreciate him for walking me through the steps. It was fast paced, just being inserted into the team and playing in the next 2 days. But
wait, so you got the call on a Thursday, you're playing like on a Saturday? Is that what happened?
No, so I got the call on I got the call on a Monday, right? Yeah. Had to sign the contracts, do all the logistics. I got there on a Wednesday, which was their off day.
Right.
I practiced on a Thursday, practiced on Friday, was playing on that Saturday.
How many reps did you get on that Saturday? You remember?
I'm pretty sure I got a couple. I got a couple reps. They started only putting me in the third down package because I'm known for my pass rush,
right?
And I was comfortable with that. He was like, just go, just pass rush, and it was fun. It was fun, and I got a decent amount of rush. I can't remember the exact number, but I just getting same way it was from high school to college to the pros, just getting adjusted to that speed. But the way the coaches kind of inserted me and walked me through everything helped me get adjusted way quicker. Well, I had to get adjusted way quicker.
The coaches helped you adjust, professionally and to get into the game. But then you have to make that social adjustment, getting inserted into a professional locker room halfway through the season, probably replacing some guy everybody was tight with, and you're the new guy. Did you A, did you know the Stars were looking at you before you got the call? And then B, did you have any friends on the team in advance, or did you kind of have to go around and shake some hands and be like, yo, I'm Ralph, what's up?
Yeah, yeah. That was the social aspect of it was very different. You know, I knew player. I have one teammate he wasn't on the Stars, but he plays for the Pittsburgh Maulers. His name is Eric Asua. He was a defensive end when I was he was a senior when I was a freshman at Western.
All right.
But and I of course I talked to him about how the league is ran and everything and how he likes it, and he gave me all good things about it. But as far as the Stars, I knew no one. I knew no one on the Stars. But the guys were really cool. Even though they understood that even though this is football, this is also a business, and we're trying to win. So
Right.
they appreciate the coaches making moves to put us in the correct position to win. You know, and the guys that were on the defensive line that were playing already, they definitely, walked me through the ropes, helped me understand the plays, which I appreciate them so much for. And then I
Yes.
ended up, meeting a lot of players, Cedric Lattimore, the defensive tackle. He's from my hometown from Detroit too. And
Oh,
I would have known
really?
that if I wouldn't have met him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we got really tight. And I just started making friends, and the friends became brothers, and we went on from there. Championship. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and you joined the Stars right as they were beginning to hit their stride. Case Cookus was just getting settled into the quarterback position. The offense was moving well. Matt Colburn had just gotten going, fourth, fifth week before he really exploded. And then you guys defensively really started to tighten up. And then you find yourselves in a playoff situation playing the Generals on back-to-back weeks. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm still stinging from that playoff loss. And then you have an absolute classic of a championship game against the Birmingham Stallions, which I could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Let's go back. You were involved in one of the bigger plays, actually, of the playoff game, at least to me. It was a big play that turned the game around early. It was 3-0. The Generals were just getting to start moving. They were still in their own territory, somewhere around the 40, 45-yard line. Luis Perez drops back to pass, and he throws under pressure from you, throws an interception, which got picked off and returned all the way back to the 12-yard line. 3 plays later, you guys were on the board with a Cookus touchdown. So you were the guy involved on the hit on Luis Perez, which was initially flagged as roughing the passer. So they were reviewing that. Mike Pereira upstairs did a review, and they decided that the play was clean and that it was not late and that it was a legal hit.
Mm-hmm.
When you saw the flag come down at first, what was your thought, Ralph?
I was like, I messed up. I was like, because and the thing is, I looked at my coach on the sideline, and he was just like, "You're good. You're all right. You're all right." And because I wasn't trying to beat myself up about it or anything, but when you're coming with that much force, it's kind of hard to slow down on the quarterback and everything like that. But I was nervous at first, and then the refs, I was walking around the refs, kind of trying to get a gist of what everything was, because I'm pretty sure they had a timeout or something, because it was a long review.
It was long. It was a long review. You're right.
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah.
And they had the cameras all in my face, and I'm just like, I can't get this flag. Like, this is too big of a game.
Yeah.
But once they everybody started talking, how everybody starts mumbling on the field of what the call is actually going to be, and I was like, oh, yeah, we're fine, we're all right, because at the end of the day, they said that I had hit him when his hand,
right on the release,
right on the release. So it wasn't intentional. I wasn't trying to be dirty in any sort of way. I was just trying to make the play. And
and I think that was the difference in the call eventually going your way, which was the fact that you did come in timely, if not hard. You definitely came in hard, right?
Yeah.
But that's the game. And it was, watching it over and over again after the game, it was very close. I mean, had they said it is roughing, no one would argue. And I think now looking at it again after they picked up the flag, As much as I wished it would have gone the Generals' way, Ralph, I'm not going
Yeah.
to argue with the call. It looks like it was the right call. I've spoken to some of the Generals. They don't like the call still, but that's football also.
Yeah.
But there's a great photo. I don't know if you've seen this picture. There's a great picture of you on that play, pressuring Lewis, and your hand is literally on his face, like a half an inch from his grill. Do you know this photo?
Yeah. I do know that photo. There's a lot
That
of
that's a great picture. That's got to get on your wall.
oh yeah. That's a amazing picture. Kudos to whoever photographed that. That was great.
Yeah,
Um, that play had it does have a lot of controversy around it just based off of how small the margin was for error
really
with
tight.
that.
But it was probably the biggest play of the game when you look at the aside from near the end
Yeah.
the last play where you guys returned the kick. That was probably the biggest play of the game because the offense had a hard time otherwise getting untracked against the Generals defense, and that interception return, which was built off of the altered pass from your pressure, led to that awesome field position, which gave the offense the short field they needed to punch in the one offensive touchdown, and was the difference. Really was the difference, Ralph.
Oh yeah, big momentum shifter. That's the whole thing with football is momentum shifts and keeping them. And that's all I try to do is put the team in a good position to win by doing my job. So it was a big momentum shifter, and I'm grateful the team responded to it accordingly.
Yeah, it definitely lit the fire and gave you guys at least the confidence. The other thing I'll mention about the playoff game is, and this was evident from the stands, the level of emotion that the Stars came out with far eclipsed the level of emotion that the Generals brought to the table that day. It was an obvious disparity. You can see it and you can feel it. What was it that motivated you guys? I mean, all right, you're playing for a spot in a championship. I get that. But what hyped you guys up to just bring so much that it seemed like the Generals didn't have an answer all day?
you know, Football is a very emotional game, and it's about playing with emotion and not emotional. You know what I'm saying? So, the thing that really I saw in the guys that drove them was just the whole journey from the beginning of the season. I wasn't even a part of it, but they started off with kind of a rough patch in the beginning of the season,
True.
and then something clicked with them. Like I don't know if it was when I came or if it was something the coaches said, but something clicked with them, and like they're like, we're not taking this anymore. We're about to do what we do, and going into that playoff run was something really that we wanted for ourselves to be better for ourselves. And going into it, we were quote unquote the underdogs of the whole playoff game.
Right.
And we were getting berated by media with them telling us that we were, how do you feel about being the underdogs? Having one of the not the best record going into the playoffs. People saying we sneaked into the playoffs and stuff like that. But it was just really us coming together as a team and us declaring what we wanted from ourselves and from our coaches, and everybody buying into the culture of the team for real. Like that's really what it was, and our coaches really got on our backs and held us accountable for everything. So we really went into that game with emotion but with precision of what we wanted to do.
You're right about the fact that the team started to find its stride week 5, 6, and beyond. How much, even though you lost the game in week 10, the Stars showed that they could play on the same field with the Generals. It was like a 27-23 game or something like that in week 10. How much do you take away from that week 10 game in preparation for the playoff game just 6 or 7 days later? Did it give you a lot of insight, or do you feel like they were a little vanilla in their presentation to hide some things? What was the thought there?
Yeah, I definitely because some of the stuff they were doing in the actual playoff game was completely different from what we saw in the week 10 game. And I feel like that's just the football like IQ of it. Everybody's not going to show everything if you're playing your opponent the next week. You know what I'm saying? But as far as grit goes, I mean, I feel like both teams played with amazing grit and passion. But when it came to that playoff game, it was just honestly who wanted it more. You can try to, X and O's everything you want, but at the end of the day, I mean, it comes out to who came out with more passion with the game and who wanted it more and everything like that. but definitely in week 10, everybody, including us, I mean, we were vanilla too, just not showing everything after because we have to play them the following week,
Yeah. One of those unique situations in football.
Yeah.
So now you're in the position of starting with the team from the beginning now. You'll get to start with training camp and be with them into their plans from the beginning. So how does that feel? That's got to be exciting to, I guess this will be truly your first professional training camp, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's got to be an exciting feeling.
Oh yeah, it's really exciting. I'm glad to be back with some amazing coaches, um, and just be back out there and playing. Honestly, it's great that this will be my first, professional training camp, and I don't know. I'm just excited for what we can do because I saw what we did last year.
And a road trip to Detroit this year. You get to go home. How great is that? Play in front of your family and friends.
Man, it's great. The family when the USFL kind of came out with the news that we were going to be in Detroit, it was just like, it was just an uproar in my family and my friends. Everybody gets to see me play professional, and I really just get to, be in my hometown and play and do what I love. I've been in Michigan playing football my entire life. You know what I'm saying? So like, even at Western, my college coaches, they're like coming down for some games. We're definitely we love to see you. And having my fan base from Western Michigan, and also having them come back to seeing me come back to Michigan, it's just it's a blessing. Honestly, I couldn't ask for anything better, and I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's going to be a party. That's for sure, man.
Oh yeah.
Ralph, what was your major in school?
I majored in sports management.
Sports management. So like,
yes,
we hear that major title thrown around a lot, but I don't think people really know what that means. You want to shed a little insight into what it means to be a sports management major?
Yeah. So sports management, it doesn't even have to specifically cover sports management. It's truly like a management degree. You learn how to facilitate and run like, different organizations. They give you the stepping stones and the knowledge into just having a correct like sports program, if you want one, the way to conduct yourself as like, if you were to say like be a GM or an athletic director or even a head coach, in the way to facilitating the chemistry of the workplace,
Right.
And just having that knowledge of being, a true manager or being, a leader. The whole thing that my degree specifically focused on was being a leader in the workplace, regardless of the sports or the corporate world or just, just in general, is being a leader and knowing how to facilitate and how to move certain pieces, within whatever you're doing to get the biggest outcome and the biggest support for your workplace. Yeah.
Kind of maximizing everybody's talents around you.
Exactly. For the greater cause of the company.
So it's almost like a combination of like a business management and HR degree in a sense, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. I think there's a misconception that people hear an athlete have a sports management degree and that it's some sort of cupcake classes, basket weaving or something like that. And it's far from that, right?
Yeah, far from that. I feel like a reason why a lot of athletes specifically choose this major is because, you're in a leadership role. I mean, or you have to be some type of leader in the athletic community.
True.
And carrying that over into the corporate and business world or the non-sports world is huge. So I feel like that's a good, bridge into applying your talents in sports and applying them to the real world. It's
a great answer, man.
Yeah.
What kind of off-season job did you have while you've been training and getting ready for the season?
I've been doing I've actually been doing some modeling. Actually, I do a bit of modeling, and I'm also doing like some just basic sports training. Defensive line training for some younger guys that I knew growing up. Some high school players. But really, I'm training every day. My schedule goes 6 a.m. I'm training. Then I'm working out some defensive line guys. And then at around 7, I hit my second training day, my second training session of me working out. So, I work out 2 times a day, every day.
Wow.
Fit some yoga, some Pilates in there.
Strength and flexibility, both very important, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Balance
For
training.
sure.
You do any balance training too?
Oh yeah, balance training, core training. I do all that. I try to do a lot of low impact, stuff, especially like like Pilates and the water Pilates. Just
That's
working on
not
that
easy.
flexibility. No, by no
That's
way
not
is
easy.
it easy.
If you ever want to sweat while you're underwater, try water Pilates because
Yeah.
you will work up a fast heart rate for sure.
Oh yeah.
Let me
Oh
ask
yeah.
you. Let me ask you a question. I need to backtrack. Tell me about
Yeah.
the modeling.
Oh
What
yeah.
kind of modeling? You walking a runway, or is it your hands, or give me a sense.
It's the biggest feature on my face. It's my beard, man. It's my
Yeah,
beard. And I have some other Christian sports brands. There's a Christian sports brand called God Over Glory. That I had a couple shoots and a video shoot for. Then they great brand. They gave me clothes and everything like that.
nice.
I'm doing this thing with Shea Moisture where I'm trying to. Shea Moisture is a hair company, and they specific in women's hair and men's hair, but beard, and I kind of try to step my foot out there, reach out and try to do my thing with that, so that's
Cool.
one. That's another thing, and just different clothing brands and stuff like that. Nothing too major, but I am stepping out my comfort zone a little bit and looking at the different avenues in which I can generate revenue.
And it's fun to just do other things that bring you happiness or joy. And they don't
Exactly.
necessarily, not everything in life has to be about making a buck off of it either.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can
Exactly.
totally appreciate the vibe that you're bringing, Ralph. This was an awesome show. I really enjoyed getting to meet you, Ralph. We don't get to hear every single guy's story. It's a lot of players and a lot of teams, and it's
Yeah.
only 10 weeks. So thank you for sharing all this with us. I bet there's a lot more too if we kept going, right?
Oh yeah, it's tons, man. But I appreciate you reaching out, man, and just giving me the time to talk, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for becoming a friend of the USFL today and now a friend of mine. And I look forward to having you on again as camp starts to, get closer and get underway and definitely during the season. I'll be looking for you. I'll be at least a few games.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ralph Holley of the Philadelphia Stars. You're listening to USFL Today. I'm your host, Angelo Fioris. Be sure to follow us at USFL Today on Twitter. And make sure you follow at USFL Today on YouTube. And make sure you follow our Generals account at NJ_Generals. We've got a bunch of new shows rolling out before the season starts. So make sure you set those notifications. That's it for this week. Thanks for listening to USFL Today.